Hello. Welcome once more. We apologize for the break in transmission for the second time around. And please, now for share the program back again. Because we believe, say, if you share the program, we will forget people in back for log on and make sure they're able to continue the discussion. The discussion don't start back and then we continue from Usa we left. But we want to say sorry once more to viewers them. We anxiously and patiently wait for join we back again. But you know go regret if you join we back again and share them back again to the same people that we even get. We even follow the discussion earlier on. So if you give me maybe another couple of seconds, let me subscribe for share back again on my own platform, then we can take them off from there. Because we believe say the conversation today is very much interesting and in the try for Fangewi. But we let it take Fange because we self now we name Fange because Usai go on get yeah now they will all this see and we not go tire for see because we self now Juvini go do the Juvini thing. But viewers, if you just join me, you watch Sierra Leone Media live on YouTube and Facebook in one of the edition where we call How Do You Go Inside the Republic. How do you go inside the Republic? They talk about so many things that we believe say nothing that really affect Sierra Leone and Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora as well. So today we don't highlight the topic of discussion we'll get, and that topic of discussion we just discuss for breaking down so that we will be able to understand exactly what we mean by what we say. We can talk about the president in scorecard on education. The president in scorecard on education, not to we put them together, like the president in team of education experts them, and then put them together. And those experts highlighted some of the concerns and some of the gains and some of the well, they're not going to put the loss, but the concerns, the gains, and a few other things we didn't come across in the 5 years time in office of the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone in focus on education. We're now one of in flagship program then. But before I go any further, I go on for welcome. We caught up to the program and ask him who's I been there. It's the topic of discussion today. We don't come out from so many different areas then we don't can join we from. But Otto, over to you. Say hello to viewers telling me what that you take on the discussion we get to this afternoon.
Hello, Fambulem, una adu, una welcome. We appreciate una and sorry, as T-Boy say, for the break in transmission. And tuna know this now, the technology world. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes not. So I'm happy to be here again today and, for join una all this program, How to Go Inside the Republic, and the enlightening, exciting, and controversial conversation that we go now. So, but as we always say, too hard for talk, but nobody bring peace. So, thank you. Over to you, T-Boy.
Thank you very much, Koso Juma, for that short introduction. I believe, say, you don't join we at the prime of the program. We just going to around, but we may get some breaking transmission. We don't happen twice. We'll continue to apologize to viewers them for that. We can do the president's scorecard on so many issues then we don't highlight on education. Some of against them and some of the things then we don't do. Wise, it don't take 5 years in office. We don't read one segment of we can out to the next column. We get almost the same amount of content in about 5 or 6, and then we can be able to talk about a little bit more. But I think as we go along, you'll be able for come inside some of the things that we possibly will come across because until we don't revisit them or we don't visit them before on the very first few and where I don't highlight. So I read exactly as it is on the scorecard itself. Now we will go to the second row, and the second row gets again like a 5 or 6 column. So I will begin with the second row. Increased primary education expenditures from 3.61% to 4.3% of GDP between 2020 to 2021, the highest increase in over 1 year across all countries in the lower pool of the MCC scorecard. When we say all countries of the lower pool of the MCC scorecard, is the MCC scorecard based on the fact of that's the UN scorecard, right, Juma?
Now the US then scorecard. So it's MCC is a US based institution, or when then they fund or something like that. So
right. Okay. So basically, the president, they highlight the increase in primary education expenditures. When 3.61 to 4.3, from 3.61 to 4.3 of the GDP. Of course, we all know what's not the GDP of Sierra Leone, right? Between 2020 to 2021. And it's the highest increase in over 1 year across all countries. So when you say across all countries in the lower pool of the MCC scorecard, are you talking about all countries all over Africa or all over the world?
Well, that's the question where you ask for us. You see, Namika say, with this government, everything they do is deliberate. Everything they do is calculated, and their inconsistency, they show across the board. And I keep saying two things here. How they started, now so then they end.
Right.
And everything that they do, you see deception right through. Because one moment, so if you use MCC data for compare with other countries on education expenditure at the primary level from 3-point-something% to 4-point-something% across all countries in a year, do you make those comparisons with other countries when it comes to human rights issues, when it comes to corruption, when it comes to employment, when it comes to every other thing, when it comes to salary increase, when it comes to even the purchasing power parity for countries? That means say almost me get, if you divide all the money in as alone, if you put them per aid, almost me go able to forget for spend. Salone purchasing power parity before was, I think, close to 900 or something like that. I think we don't go to 1,000 something before 2018. Now, if you look, because of that exchange rate, your salary or your income, it don't make sense. So if you look at if you 1,000, if you 10 million lius being worth $1,000 in 2018 or before 2018, today your 10 million is worth what? $500.
Yep.
So if you purchasing power parity, it possibly be $1,000, then the example now it's $500, so it don't deteriorate. So you can't use MCC measures for one thing, and then you use UNO for another thing, and you use Africa whatever barometer, for example, for another thing. Then the next one, you use bulk figures rather than percentage or you use quantitative data there rather than percentage. You understand? So you see the inconsistency. They're doing things where then they fix or satisfy them. But again, let's just go and look at. Okay, you say you don't increase, right? Fine. What has that, how that they don't impact positively? Has that made any difference for the better in primary education, that 1% increase there? What's are the difference we don't make? It don't cut down the burden on teachers. It don't improve schools. It don't make sure say more picking and they go school. It don't fulfill the promises you made to us that you make 2 million picking and enroll in a school, and you will provide for the uniform, bag, shoes, and a meal in a school. You promise those 4 things in international media. The other one, before Bill Gates, you tell say you government, they provide, no tuition, tuition-free school. They provide uniform,
and school
bags,
meal.
shoes, and school meal. Is that happening? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. So we left to the public for let them engage whether waiting in at the scorecard actually they make a difference that picking their life and their families then, or to education generally.
Well, that's the comparison we would only highlight and say, let people and make their own view and opinion on what we talk about on the scorecard. The scorecard is just exactly looking at the presidency achievement in education. It will already discuss them. We need to challenge them. We need to defend them either. But at the same time, we left them.
Well, I mean, I don't say we need a challenge. I mean, a challenge by asking questions.
No, when I say challenge, we need to challenge them like for challenge and say, okay, this is not true. We highlight the concerns, then we say surrounded by the scorecard, and then left them for make up a choice, because we highlight some of these things then and bring and come into reality. Is that exactly what you see on the scorecard? That it's same thing you see in reality in a salon? It gets any kind of equal balance share of responsibility on what is written on paper and what they exactly happen in the livelihood or educational department in Sierra Leone. So we'll move on. Then it goes again to say supplied more than 10 million books, teaching and learning materials to learners across the country. Then one. Then over 80% of schools are supported by government subsidies across the country. Then two, and then the next one are expanded school feeding from 200,000 to over 700,000 within 15 districts across the country. Let's talk about these three, because Juma, what me and Femi done to discuss earlier on, now the fact that we have a huge amount of statistical data without any backing up evidence. And on what thing we don't talk about earlier on, now the same thing will happen of the same statistical data without backup evidence. So what me say is, with this kind of statements being put on documents, then for either don't give you reference points for go and look at substantial more evidence based on this particular topic, or then give you bullets line of some of these statistics and how we go before look at them and address them and feel to say what's in the right is correct. But do you have any kind of evidence for sure say the government does supply more than 10 million books, teaching and learning materials to learners across the country? Again, across the country, not a specific area or town or district. Then over 80% of schools are supported by government subsidies across, again, 80% across the country. That's a huge amount of percentage. We for be able to be specific and look at 2 or 3 schools and give we break down into those statistics. And then expanded school feeding from 200,000 to over 700,000 within 15 districts across the country. Again,
so let's clarify quick. Let's ask, what did the document say? 200,000 to 700,000 waiting. School picking them, schools by plates. So sometimes they ship 200,000 plates, now 700,000 plates. Yes.
Well,
what is it?
School feeding.
Expanded school feeding.
Yeah.
So to schools?
Well,
or to school picking them?
We don't know.
Or why they measure the plates, yes?
Well, we don't know, because again,
so
like we
said, this is to expose how these governments, they play with words, and throw in, quantitative data, like what you say, but they don't have what it takes to, they're not get waiting for use for back that up. So then throw the big one, you hear that one day, you go increase, you don't hear from 200,000 to 700,000. You're like, but you don't ask yourself on waiting. School feeding on waiting. Now the school picking, the number of school picking they don't feed. Now the number of school picking they don't feed.
It not show who that. It just say expanded school
on
feeding.
The number of schools that we don't extend school feeding program to.
Well,
on the number of rice and bean trade and don't serve, or rice and water soup with and don't serve. That's one. Second one, you talk about 80%. That is not new. That has been from time immemorial. Right? Time immemorial. Schools in Sierra Leone are subsidized by government. Education is social delivery service, just like healthcare in Sierra Leone. So government assisted schools when a majority of the schools, so I can agree with that, but that is not new. Nothing has changed. They don't add nothing. Now waiting always done the upgrade. And when you say 80%, you get for look at them, say, tell we almost hundreds schools then they when are government assisted schools. Then we're able for grader, right? Because now we want for understand, we don't throw 80%. We want for know who size schools then they. Remember what we they ask one time ago, how many schools then are each community? Waiting at the mile radius for let you reach to the nearest school. So we want for know, is the north get more schools than the southeast, or the southeast gets more schools than the north? So we want for knowledge. So we vote 80%. We really want for know, because when you know the gap, you understand, and the disparity where they, then you go able for say, okay, we need for put more schools now, so because this side not get more schools.
It is schools.
Yeah, and sometimes the reason why I make more picking and not they go school now because of distance. You understand? For most of for travel for going to school. So you want to bring the school to them. Or do you actually need a school, or you want to change the medium of how you they provide education to them? You want to provide mobile schools for them? You want to go school for them at their farm or under the tick? These are all different things. So just throwing 80% does not show that you don't develop. But even let's say that's a given, that's true. This is not new. It has been like that since we then fend Sierra Leone. Now government, they subsidize schools. You get few private schools in Sierra Leone. And so if you say 80%, that can be correct. that can be correct. They're waiting at the other one way, say there's a third bullet point there.
You want 10 million books, teaching and learning materials to learners across the country.
Okay, so 10 million books. It's possible, but whose kind books? Textbooks, exercise books. If not textbooks, we want for know. Is it the main subject, math, English, and the sciences? What? Just don't throw us figures. So you see, one side I use percentage, the other side I use waiting figures, right? 10 million.
Now that's not the confusion we done the highlights, since they read all the reports them on the president's scorecard. There's a huge amount of data being utilized with no backing up statement. There's a huge amount of figures being thrown at us with no evidence for backdating statement when it comes to figures. All right, well, let's move on. So basically, those are the three.
And Tipa, just quickly before we move on, what's in the government need for understand? You know, they do yourself a favor if you just throw figures out there. Because now you tell we say, you don't do all this development, but the development, not the impact on the people. So where is the problem? You have to ask yourself, is all these figures you're throwing solving the problem or not? If it's not solving the problem, who side the gap there? But what's immediacy, then they throw figures for look good. We're not saying our politics, not campaign term, you want for look good, but you have to be realistic. Again, just like how they remember the percentage rate, the pass rate, and say free education, all of a sudden, 4% people 9 pass. The following year, 90% people we see. Now the first country this where they own, thing they change from problem to solution one. So then solve the 4% problem and make a 9%, and they say these are the impact of the free education. That's one. But then they forget to say we don't pass 90%. There's another thing we get for go meet. The beginning get for go university.
Yep.
They don't go for go university now, they don't meet the requirement. So they all fail back. So if you be just pass people level for let you look good, now look at the other problem we don't cause for yourself, the school picking them and comrade them and the teachers them and the country.
All right. That's now Juma in your take on that, and Miss Evelyn express my own take on that. I'll bring Femikam on the next one. We read over 2 million use of you. Okay. over 2 million use the digital result checker, saving billions of leones for parents. How? We need to quantify this as well. Distributed 50 brand new buses for transportation of hundreds and thousands of students across the country. Recorded enviable gains in the girls' primary education completion rate. Access or assessed by UNESCO, 99.5%. Can we talk about those three? The 2 million use digital results checker. Now, the one way they buy top up for check you results online.
No, I think they make newer way they use a code where they see the text.
Yeah, no, but now the one way
provider.
But not the data.
Not to the scratch one.
Okay, not to the scratch one.
Yeah, so this way you go there, I think you text, you put there's a number where you punch, then you put your code or whatever, then you get your results.
Okay.
Again, can be good. So where you say save parents billions, was it free?
Now be asking.
If you not get data, if you not get data now, if you not get data on your phone, you still able to check. We don't know that. That's not one. 2 million. Inside one, is it for 1 year or 5 years?
For parents, you not specify how many years.
You see,
I don't think we have 2 million school-going students with the check.
Now, even if we get, now you get from Canal for begin watch, across what time period? Is it for the 5 years? So you see again, why and I when they talk about MCC, what did they do? Then they say within 1 year, not so.
Yeah.
Then this one now they just left on blankets. So it's up to you now, Kapu and swell at the breeze. But it's possible. But again, if me go check 3 or 4 times, how many times do you count? Or anytime we me check on that phone, I'm not able to check there again. So if me check 50 times, are you counting that 50 times?
Well, it should be counted because you are entering the data into that particular system. So yes, it should be counted.
So then the 2 million may be representing actual figures, or it may not be.
Okay, well
and then waiting at the other one.
50 brand new buses.
Yeah, we saw buses out there. I don't know whether they're 50 or 50 was operational, but we saw buses out there. We didn't say now school buses, but they see school picking them. They struggle for go school in the morning, or for we didn't come out school for going at their house.
So how were the buses distributed?
I don't know.
Because we need to find out whether they're shaped by provincial towns or by the capacity of the school-going kids in a specific area.
Right. And the other question for ask we said, because there were school buses before 2018. Right? City Council been get their own school buses, they didn't be run. So one for no, were they added or were they say brand new? So how about the other one then? So where are these buses now? These 50 buses. Are they still operational? Or is it like the ambulances? We'll get how many hundred?
Now part of the 500 ambulances then.
Exactly, we get 500 ambulances, but where people sick, then get for put in a Okada for go now hospital.
Well, what I don't understand, we don't highlight this. Why would you have 500 ambulances where we not get a huge amount of people already sick, we need ambulance attention, but we have a huge amount of school-going kids that need transport to go to school? We only have 50. Now the whole country.
And 50 for the whole country, yeah.
And then the whole country provide us 500 ambulances. Because for make you get 500 ambulances, one of those ambulances might cost maybe 2 buses or 3 buses. Because ambulance get to be equipped, right, with medical.
Well, that is your thing, but we don't know whether these ambulances are just vehicles with the lights and a stretcher. Do they have what it means to be an ambulance, things that we then go able for stabilize somebody till they reach an hospital. You know what I mean? All that thing anyway constitute an ambulance, because
I just could have
who are the people where they accompany you in a hospital? Are they trained EMT people? Because EMT people and paramedics are trained differently. So in a different ball game, you want to go catch so. So low left that before.
I just catch up for make the comparison with the quantity of buses compared to the quantity of ambulances being provided by the government in scorecard on health and in education. Okay, now recorded inviolable gains in the girls' primary education completion, which means assessed by UNESCO 99.5%. What do you understand by that? Because to me,
99.9% of what or for what?
Inviolable gains in girls'
viable gains
completion. Yes.
Okay.
So basically, the example said to be 99.5%
girls have
completed their education.
99.9%.
0.5%, yes.
0.5%. Na salon.
When UNESCO make that assessment there.
Na salon.
Yeah.
UNESCO no they make assessments. Let people understand this first. UNESCO publish figures that you provide them. The country now they provide data to UNESCO. UNESCO they just come over, they can't collect. No. Now wait till you provide them. Now in then they publish. So not to UNESCO data. Now the data, okay, let me make an example, let people understand something. If you find out for a long time, they'll tell you that the illiteracy rate in Sierra Leone is 60 to 70%. Okay? Mm-hmm. Those data, if you watch the tell them provided data, they are in the 80s. And that has remained consistent, right? If you watch from the 80s, up to this, that means say we don't make any progress for reduce. Exactly, no gains, no progress made for reduce the illiteracy rate in the country. So if the illiteracy rate constant, so 60 to 70%, then you say 99.5% of girls complete, they complete their education. When they mean completion again, waiting they mean, is it from class 1 to class 6 NPSC?
No, primary. Girls in primary education.
Girls in primary. So that means say you sit NPSC, 99.5%. That is possible. But again,
let's say that is possible. Do we have the capacity for the secondary school goers to be able to?
They come back to you. So like when a report say 99% NPS, what you call and JSS 3 or JSS 4, the way we go sit them pass. But then the name will go university. So from what you call class 1 to class 6, where they fail now, okay, with the 6334 system, then they push you go to the next class. NPSC where you go sit. They're not a failure, like Kobe, they do selective entrance where they say, you understand, if you not get a required mark, you they repeat. Now they will find you a school where then they send you go. So if you say completion rate, that's fine. But where is the quality? Is it just the number? But 99.5%.
The focus is on the number than the quality education.
But even that 99.9% is a fictitious figure because data, because we know other social problems that way they, right? Where they make something the picking able for complete school. And then problems and they iboku a common say left, where the Comrago decide say, Camlo go sell. Because we get for eat first. If you not eat, how you will go school? Put the picking at school. So picking they get for send them to your auntie at home, or your uncle, or one good neighbor or good Samaritan, the pikin end up they go begin work for babysit other person you picking them, right? So a lot of things. So you want to tell me say now 1%, no more. of the primary school going kids will be enrolled and then they reach another stage there. So therefore know how many picking they will enroll. Girl picking they will enroll in a primary education course. When you know that, then you begin tracking.
Well, so if you say all these documents should be available at the Ministry of Education website, because again, they might have documents there.
Anything funded by the funds for the consolidated fund, you get for be able for accountable to the people, and you have to show transparency. I should be able to go if you get government website, if Ministry of Education get website, I don't want to see the minister and in big belly people where they go one conference here and there, not to the picture that we want to see. We want to see real data, liable for know how many schools then I'm a community. You understand? This school where I'm going to put me picking there, almost picking there, they almost classroom then get, almost teacher then get. That data is supposed to be available. But is it there? Where you go in the Ministry of Education, which website, if you go to which you see?
Well, the
function for us.
The minister within in charge of lower education, David Shenge, right?
Yeah.
So basically, according to in data collection, we suppose for them computerize all the schools in Sierra Leone. It should be on the database sheets now, the Ministry of Education website. But I don't go through them, and I'm not able to see that data there. But
the man not care about that data. The man don't write book where call radical inclusion.
I saw his book, but at the same time,
you understand? So the man data where they get now for him book. He use people material, government material, and people material. He don't write book where get for benefit from for the rest of in life. Radical inclusion. What does that mean? I don't know. What radical inclusion mean? Because you're not going to go fetch people and for can't put them picking at school. Not to that.
That's what I want to say. Based on the radical changes, the way they happen, something that the same terminology back make a title in book radical inclusion. It means whether you like it or not, we're going to be you have to be inclusive in this particular journey that I'm facing. Okay.
That has never been our problem. The problem of people wanting to go to school has not been the problem. Now the barriers them, the challenges them, waiting at the hurdles will make people they know they go to school. Now that they're not clear.
It's what we haven't been able to identify or not clear.
We refuse for. We know the problems. Most of them, big minister, then civil servants, some of them go school 10 to. So they know what it's like. Some man all our neighbor here for so close uniform for school picking. But we go with president, go talk na international platform, say it provide uniform, books, bag, and shoes for all this primary school picking them. Almost picking the way you they take care of. Let me ask you today. Almost picking the way they take care of. We don't buy school shoes for, bag, a uniform for. In the last 5 years, how many? And how many more will they reach out to you sometimes under normal circumstances? They're not blunt reach out to you, but because of how the country, the how thing don't begin reach out to you, so you get for be stretched thin for extend hand to them. Over to you.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Juma Lokauti Ambogin.
It's a question.
But you're right. You know, over the years we've paid school fees. We don't buy uniform. We don't buy suits. We don't buy crepe. We don't buy socks. We don't provide feeding. And you're right. Everybody knows the barriers to entry. You know, the barriers to entry were never school fees, as far as me concerned. School fees have been 27,000, if I remember right. So
that was later, sir.
Yeah, school fee was never an issue. Even you know, no disrespect to them, but the way they walk in Abacha Street, they pay school fee for them, picking them for go school. So school was
and even
never
them picking them.
Exactly. School was tuition was never an issue, or school fee was never an issue. Now the other thing them, then an issue. We picking go school where you not get eats for it. How it they concentrate in a class? You know, then I didn't the way you don't work out almost mad for reach school, by the time you reach school, you don't tire. And as Juma says, some of we ministers them went through these issues when I'm in picking it, so they know the problem. They're not, very few of them born with silver spoon at the mouth. They know the problem, but they refuse to tackle the problem for try for fix the problem for one reason or another. I don't know what those reasons are, but they refuse to do so. But we're not the most brainy people here. We're not the most technical people here. We Minister of Law Education want to talk, but just now, I believe say he's a PhD grad. Am I right, Njuma? Yeah. He's a technology man. They brought this thing where unabini talk about just now Juma T-boy about when they for check the results and almost say one person go in what I do, we call that single sign-on. So we don't go there the one time where it don't pick up you details say you don't already come. Next time you go there, it does not register you. So do we have these things in Sierra Leone? We were expecting some of them people are so where they claim say they don't come abroad, they don't study the sciences, they don't work in technology, then they can go adapt on a Sierra Leone, for go make a difference, should know better. But and sometimes I question some of these degrees that them players they put now we face. Yes, he went to MIT go. I really wonder how some of the lecturers in MIT go if they're in the following career, which then go feel say he did. Our former bank governor we but waiting in student them in field but we even the lecture then also. They said he was a terrible teacher.
Correct.
Yeah, we take our go make him bank governor. He can't give you 2 currency neither run away. After losses, boku of women, we don't know side right now. So you understand? There's many things them way we waiting at the diaspora they disappoint we country because most of these guys claim that they've come from here, claim say they don't can get that education, that experience, and then when they have the opportunity, they do nothing with it. As I say, for me, the whole education system in Sierra Leone needs a total revamp. The free education was a dream. They not do the feasibility studies. They're not up to now. They don't almost picking them. Then suppose for pay school fee for. So how you do that? Andy? You need to know which now you outlay so that you go able to budget for them. You can't just throw silly words in the air saying I did do this and no side you go pull the money. Now I don't land we at the same problem with the airports. Then go take company now, they don't realize that 20-year return the money where they get at that $30 no get for reach. By the time 20 year done, we'll not go pay for that money there. So now then they can add, then they talk about add that money they times them by almost 1,000% for make we will pay that money. Again, now because they went there and they saw this dream and they can take that dream there, they can put some power. But that dream then I don't count on nightmare, because most of us won't fly. And this is what they do in most of the things that they do in a salon. They know they do the proper study for see how they're able for implement them. It's good to have an idea, but how you implement it is the most important.
All right, thank you very much, Femi, for that. And so let's move on.
Yeah, but T-boy, before we move on, tell me how much speaking their way don't we the sponsor where they don't call it now say, hey, Uncle T-boy.
Not say we been a sponsor, we still a sponsor.
No, they come. We don't call you now say this year Uncle T-boy not buy shoes for we again because President Bill don't buy shoes for we. Not buy bag again because President Bill don't buy bag. Not buy uniform again because President Bill don't give you uniform. Because these are practical questions we will for ask we self. How many these governments we miss abi therefore don't papi show them school picking and they make them take picture, they put them as I call them State House website. Say now the bag they won't buy for the picking and the all that the container I don't come. look at the bag, then so they give the school picking them. Mama for one day now they give the school picking them the bag. Mama and Papa, the Papa go they dance, the Mama they issue the bag there to the school picking them with the shoes. You understand? But how many we don't call you? Say that money be the same for bags, shoes, a uniform, not send them again. They are just send money for lesson. How many?
Well, to be specific, none.
Okay.
Reason being because we are still providing services than they even up till date. So
and almost people where you sabi where they do similar thing where they don't call because until you unlucky.
A lot of people they will not get no phone call from any of them. I don't know whether it happen at areas that we will not aware of, but the areas that we are aware of, we'll get people who sabi where they pay, we don't use for pay. We've been done, they pay for them stuff they also they highlight. So nothing has changed. It is still an ongoing.
I disagree, guys. Things don't change, Juma, T-boy.
Okay.
For the worse. Then they ask you for more.
Then they ask for more.
Yeah, then they ask for more.
Rather than they ask you for less, then they ask for more. No, so
correct.
That's the thing. So that they don't answer the question. So then fake we with free education, and now we don't get waiting. We they pay more than what we use for pay. We will not be get free education.
So it's not even cost effective based on the fact that they give you a lot of.
It is not happening. Now few people in pocket they go T-boy. That's the bottom line. So then budget for uniform, shoes, bag, and waiting. Then they keep the money, then convert, then divert onto themselves.
So Bill Gates, we ever don't check for see whether the supports.
Bill Gates no craze. Let me tell you what happened. You see, people need to understand this. It was a PR stunt. They paid money for let President Bill go sit on that platform there for talk. Government of Sierra Leone paid money. When I remember the way they say, oh, then they go for clean the country image.
Yeah.
They used to pay all these international firms money for let give them access for go sit outside Bill Gates, they sit down and talk. 5 minutes. You know when they say one hit wonder, you don't get a 5 minute fame, you don't commodity. Then if you say Bill Gates go put money, Bill Gates not crazy for puts money. Nah. He knows better. The man I get Microsoft. When they deal with this, they deal with this, I go like.
Well, I just because no, you see now the impression of David Senge being an IT expert in whatever they think he has his professional area on IT, and you know, say Bill Gates, of course, now the father of technology with Microsoft, he might be thinking, okay, maybe he don't get so much respect for him back in the days when he was studying and everything. He gets some kind of relationship. So that is the impression they create. And again, the impression is an impression we go fool the layman, the man we know who that Bill Gates be, and seeing your president on the same platform with Bill Gates, it means something that is credible. But again, what will they measure the credibility of that particular meeting day towards what thing they happen in terms of education in Sierra Leone? I know say for sure Bill Gates is trying to do a lot of stuff all over the world, but
Bill Gates gets a lot of things that they do in Africa. That's not the question. Yeah. My point is the way they enter there and they challenge anybody, they paid so much money to international PR consultants there, where they talk about branding and all of those things. That and get access.
That's we 110% sure. So that is.
So if you think, say, if you believe, say, you know, waiting President Bill talk yonder, it don't implement. I beg, una prove we wrong. Una show we President Bill sitting by close to Bill Gates, the Minister of Education, Dr. David Senge, himself sit on, I think I be the moderator or whatever. Now then three sit on, not so. They ask him, not so much, it's not my words, not your words, but una tell we almost book, or almost, I call it in, uniform, shoes, and bags we don't provide for them school picking them. Primary, the 2 million school picking them. Una show we because sometimes we don't picking them not lucky because sometimes they're not being go school that day.
So I have seen some evidence of pallets of books. I will not quantify.
No, I agree with the books, yes. But what we are asking is the quantity of books. They say 10 million books.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's what I'm
disputing
saying.
the
10
books.
million books is more than 540-feet container.
So is it exercise books?
Well, it should be exercise books.
Textbooks or combined?
Yes. What me see that exercise books. But not go far down one day. Look, we ask for the beginning way to go to school now free tongue to be specific. Or look, we say the beginning way to go now.
Hold on there first. Let me inside.
All right.
So guys, on this book thing, wait till you see T-boy, the palette that we see now government's book them.
Because yes, now government books. Well, like, they get the coat of farm, so I accept. Say yes, now government book because.
So I assume it's an exercise books.
Exercise
because
books.
I know of a few charities them where they provide textbooks and literature books them to Sierra Leone.
I know that as well.
I was involved in one in particular. We then send lots of books them go salon. So let's be very careful if we see textbook them, they reach now the country outside then they come out if the government actually buy and provide them book also or not donation them from well wishes.
So that is why I asked the question based on that data for them for specify, because just like how you say, I know somebody within the last 5 years where then can go 2 containers of books because they give this person a whole library. They say this library, will they come upgrade, will they give you this whole library, carry and go. Now your money, raise funds for make sure say those things were shipped into Sierra Leone and then donate them across the country, including to Frabe College. Including to Frabe College.
So just you want to get evidence to work.
No, but I just say so. I mean, when they say books, you just can't lump figures on us and don't specify. Textbooks, whose kind of textbooks? Is it math, English, literature, and the sciences? Which I know how they do that because in we own era, we had the same thing in school, right? We get exercise books every day they give you. When your exercise book full up, you go show them give you other one. Yeah. Right? Or sometimes if you not last for the whole term, or every time that they give you. Textbooks, what be they call it a book and not also. Then they bring a kind of school, you do not take it home, but they share it in class. You use them. They give for class, wanna use them, wanna hand them over. So that used to happen in our era. And this time as well, I don't have a problem with saying you dished out books. But when you say 10 million, specify for we.
Well, that is a concern we have on this specific scorecard because the not gets no kind of lead up to the data and the statistics that we will get. Now, just the figures or the percentages, them no more. And then we know they get nothing for backup them figures and percentages.
And to your earlier point, T-Boy, now the Ministry of Education, their website supposed to be useful, right?
Thank you.
And be transparent. So if me want go now, go to the granular figures, I for able to go now their website and go check and say, okay, I don't provide books. Let's look the schools. Let's look whose kind books. Let's look this, what's the kind figure we me want. Let's go now begin the shift to that data, the filter to waiting me want. But it's not available. Gina Musa business, now that then come by inside, no more, they see the data.
Let me go on.
Yeah. Juma say earlier on, this is until we own school picking them, not being good school the day where they ship.
The shoes and the bag and uniform.
Juma, you bad. But on that note, Juma, before you join me, T-Boy, one of the things with T-Boy talk about or waiting at the scorecard. Now for say we get what's the word? Loan system for tertiary education. Again, waiting me ask T-Boy now outside the advertise and the way the loan system begin. Why then they can't bluff but now we nobody knows him for no but this loan system. Again, could that have been maybe just given to the few when family and friends of the current administration? Because sometimes the day we then go announce that loan system in our schools, sometimes we picking and say if not being go school that day as Juma.
Whose loan?
Well, then say we'll get not free, we'll get loans for education. That's a loan. But please, I beg that statement.
But Salon don't always get.
Let I read them. Introduce the student loan scheme for less privileged Sierra Leonean students in tertiary institutions across the country.
But again, okay, we used to have grants, right? Student grants in Sierra Leone government grants, right? What are the difference between loan and grant?
Well, loan, they pay you get for pay for hand back, but grant you don't. So I guess a
grants you
loan,
don't, right?
Like
so you take away the grants way been there, now you don't bring can loan. But we saw Lincoln Queen. How many years they not go school? University. They protested, right?
They pull their grants at the end.
Then pull their grant at the end. What to make? They say too boku, how they will go pay for grant at private school and all that. So how do you give the give the loan to the school picking there? What are the criteria? How do they give? Because the grants been there today. Do we still have the grant and the loan? And
as I said, just a few people and they benefit from it.
How many school picking them these past 2 years, where out of the 90% we pass for go university, right? We're not able for go because they're not getting money, because they don't increase tuition fees up here and there. We're not able for go. Yes, Femi.
Juma, no go far. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook recently. Post you Sabina Tom. Say, do ya in the final year in need for pay in school fee university. It's in the final year, do you make a pay for her? That's can say almost terrible, and this a policy we not get. I go share the policy in details with you later, and you go see why the policy not get. But
I understand. Right now, sometimes some of we get
may go get a loan day or that grants day.
Some of we get maybe 4 or 5 people are waiting at university right now. 4 or 5 direct relative, not so far away busy with the university that you have to pay for every year. Okay, and these are people away are responsible people, meaning that they don't go get grants or go get loan, then they can ask me back for money. They don't do that. If they may get grant or loan, then for it. But like we say, sometimes you have to get special connection for they qualify for the loan. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I know say we don't debate on that this more. Look, we'll move on. We get the next one now in co-chair high-level steering committee for SDG 4, UN's highest governing body for education. And the president is co-chair and then chaired UNESCO's Global Education Monitoring Report, the world's largest premier publication of education data.
How does that benefit education? That's a normal practice. So how does that show that our education system has improved, the free quality education don't work? When you co-chair SDG and your illiteracy rate they go up or your dropout rate they go up, doesn't make any difference to your 7-point-something million people. It does not make difference to the skilled labor force where you need. You understand? For can occupy positions them or take up jobs or serve the country. So when you co-chair, you this, you that, well and good. But I don't think that should be making the scorecard. Shouldn't be making.
We get the co-chair or sitting in any capacity should not make the scorecard, because that is not achievable for the people of Sierra Leone in terms of measuring success stories. So basically, that's individual success story. I don't think that will be.
So, but we go chair now, other than that committee there as well. We have to ask the people every day where they put chair for.
Okay, that's another. So now 2 chair committee. This one at UNESCO, 2 na UN, and then there's another 3rd one when chair the advisory board for the transforming for the transform. Again, okay, we're going to talk about education, eh? Like it exactly what's in this, like old text. Chaired the advisory board for the Transforming Education Summit. Can you imagine? For the Transforming
Education Summit. Now, Sai.
Transforming for the Transforming Education Summit. The biggest
so now the title
education for the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal.
But what about the one at Dubai? Do you want Dubai make the list? Where they say Dubai give you award for the quality education system? Because that's award. That for make the list, right? Because that award. Dubai give you award for the achievement in
quality. Then the Hands Off Girls campaign helps in assuring comprehensive safety for girls in school and their communities, among other similar policies.
So we come back to the same question. Is Hands Off Our Girls a government program, or is it a private initiative by the First Lady? Is it government funded? Because we don't deny, say the Hands Off Our Girls, no, they get no money from government. So a lot of things here. Remember, I tell you now, say we have confusion within the Mada and Fatima Bill Foundation, the Hands of Our Girls campaign, the president and the first lady, and the government of Sierra Leone. So 5 confusion they now get. So then they pick and choose who's one they fit inside. But again, the president we don't tell we say, in biggest achievement, in government, in biggest achievement, now the Hands of Our Girls campaign. So are we taking that as a government initiative, a government program? Or is it the First Lady's agenda? Is the First Lady's agenda part of the government program? Is it budgeted for? How would they measure that?
Well, we will left that as a question. But we view as the way they watch you for make that decision. Now the last 2. Approved 3 new universities that will offer a rich curriculum of industry-focused skills in different disciplines. Can you name any one of those 3 universities?
I don't know. We're still debating it because until we say University of Kono, University of the East, where they've seen our Bonobo Teachers College and other colleges that combined together, right? Eastern Polytech University, something like that. And I don't know the other ones. So
these universities have just been approved. Have they been erected?
Okay, well, possibly IAMTech. You know, where IAMTech we always do already be don't they find they teach people, and people already graduate, people they don't take up jobs, including people now this government, right? Yeah. We graduate from IAMTech. So all of these them they not be approved them, but they use them qualifications, they work for government and big institutions in the country. Is it possibly the merger of what? Milty Magai College of Education and Technical Institute for let it become a university, you know? Milty Magai.
This is only 3 universities. Why not list them there?
Simple. Well, I'm just asking the question. So they're doing this to get people more confused. So if you don't ask questions,
because it's simple for make you list them 3 universities, then you give people the headache for beginning find out.
Or is it Dominion here? Dominion.
Dominion,
because you know say Dominion, they begin accreditation. Now revoke the
accreditation. Yes,
they
revoke the accreditation. Now the last one. No school fees, admission fees, no examination fees in government-assisted schools for pre-primary, primary, junior secondary, and senior secondary education, with scholarships provided to female students studying sciences technology, engineering, and mathematics programs. That's the STEM program. What do you think about that? The last one. I'll bring Femi on that because Femi.
So the first question I want to ask.
In school now they do deal with girls, but I will still bring him on that because again, the school they associate with other schools related to this particular STEM program. So I don't know whether Femi will make any comment on
One
that.
of the questions that I want to ask T-Boy,
Mm-hmm.
you say no examination fees, no tuition. I know you're T-Boy, you're muted. You're muted, T-Boy.
Yeah, okay. So it says no school fees, admission fees, no examination fees in government-assisted schools for pre-primary, primary, junior secondary, and senior secondary education, with scholarships provided to female students studying sciences.
So the question, that's my question. So admission fee no dey, school fee no dey, examination fee there, you still dey provide scholarship.
No, this now for the entire school.
Correct, all
boys and girls.
correct.
That's not the lower level.
Yeah.
Primary and junior, senior, secondary. But the scholarship is specifically geared to secondary education. Provided to
what's in the scholarship for? That's my question.
Okay, the scholarship now for female students studying sciences, technology, and engineering.
But when they already know they pay admission, they know they pay exams fees, they know they pay school fees. So waiting at the scholarship for.
Okay, I think for
the STEM programs.
I think they fail for understand Sajuma they go. So if you not get for pay school fee, what else you not get for pay?
You don't pay admission fee. You don't pay school fee. You don't pay exam fee.
So waiting at the scholarship for, because that's what scholarship is meant to be.
I mean, I think I'm stupid. I am asking you a repeated question because I want to look stupid. I don't understand the logic.
They ask you the question again.
I don't understand the logic behind this. Let me tell you, say, what's in the logic? Because I want for break and for make you able to understand, but you don't look like what you don't understand, and you don't get able to understand. Because the whole idea of scholarship is to have an education for free.
So when me totally understand, I make I say when you single out girl picking them for some trade already they get free, then they get a scholarship on top there. That's my question. What is the scholarship for the STEM program for girl picking them? Where already they know they pay nothing.
I want to say thank you to viewers for just listening to that hour or two conversation based on the fact that we want to give a full report of the President's Scorecard on education. A project we for do last week, but because of we been get the First Lady Insai Scorecard on her achievements in 5 years in office as the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, we'll not be able to discuss the scorecard of the President's in reports on education.
Quickly, T-Boy, before you end this, if you go back to the First Lady's Scorecard, it takes credit for the free, I call it, in the hands of our girls.
Yes.
The Ministry of Education back take credit for the hands of our girls. And
Ministry of Health back again take credit.
And Ministry of Health back take credit for the hands of our girls.
So that's the question I was asking. Uda gets rights to all those credits.
Okay.
When the question we asked last week.
And we ask them back.
Every entity of government achievement is being claimed with all the different things that happen. So Uda gets credit. Uda take the honors for all the success story they have. So is it the government, the president, or the first lady? Because every activity with all three don't take part.
Or the Mother and Fatima Bill Foundation, a separate entity there.
Well, that's another challenge. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Because then they, with another reference, then say the Mother and Fatima Bill Foundation, then you get the president and the first lady in office, and then you get the government. So all man they take where you feel for take or where you feel for add.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Juma, and thank you very much, Femi, for that your contribution into the scorecard for the president's 5 years in office on education. And I believe, say, if you watch me, it's your duty, it's your responsibility to go and find out about what's in the president don't put in a scorecard, and you self-assess them for yourself and see exactly what's in that one they mean to you and how it will make a difference in the lives of Sierra Leoneans, then way they go through the education system in Sierra Leone. Before I end on the, I just highlight 8 elements of voting then at the Ministry of Education, their website. Subsides or subsidies paid now 103 billion leones. Schools approved is 3,044. Pupils served, as in serve school meal, is 2,200,000. Teachers recruited is 5,000. Teaching and learning materials procured is 4,334. That's not computers, them, not the symbol really. School furniture procured 3 billion leones. School inspectors recruited 160. School feeding, 69 billion leones was spent on school feeding. But duplication, school feeding and pupils served. We left that one there for another discussion.
So you don't see where I be telling you earlier where they say the school feeding program don't extend from 200,000 to 700,000. Then you say people serve. Wait. People serve not 2 million, right? So that means you don't feed all the school picking in the country. If you can choose how they feed, that's one. Or even if you feed all 6 billion, for what period? Is it a year or over the 5-year period? So that's 6 billion are pittance for feed 2 million picking them.
That's not likely the scorecard for the Ministry of Education, not the President's scorecard.
Well, no, but the scorecard for the ministry, now their own data.
Now their own definition, Dandy. Okay.
Yeah, so
I just decided to throw that in for look we wrap up this particular.
For confuse me more. I know.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you, viewers. We're moving on. We are now going into the next topic of discussion when violence against opposition supporters in the Southeast. As in, these now something where they rise. It don't rise for the past couple of years anyway. But I think, say, if you look at what's in the happen right now, there's a specific case where we highlight now. So because we don't highlight them back last week, and we realize, say, we actually anticipate what will possibly going to happen to this woman if they do not take action towards this particular thing that happened to them in the first place. And exactly what we anticipate may happen the following week or a couple of days after. I don't know whether the video will be ready so that we can get that video they played. The first one.
We'll play the first video and the second one, please.
The second video. So people can actually see the track line of what happens for the first time and how he escalates to the second time, which could have cost the lives of those people. I would say those because it now includes the woman and in 3 other picking them or 2 picking them.
And grand picking them.
And I think that is very, very serious for making able for sit down, allow this to happen in our country, and the law not take no action against the people that we actually do this kind of thing to this woman. So family, let us know when the video is ready so we can possibly watch it, the first and second one. So the first one was the beating of a woman in Kenema, and the second one is the continuation of the same thing that happens after the first incident.
Guys, apologies, but I don't have the first one anymore, but I have the second one.
Okay, no problem. I think we'll do that. And we will just remind people of the first one where we play the second one. So go ahead when you're ready, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Powell.
All right, give me 1 second. Just loading that.
Okay. So via this video, they play you for watch them and listen to the conversation because it's very important. Not just watch the picture. You might have seen it before, but you may be the first time we see them, you never be able to watch them for make your rational decision of what you think of the video. But this is an opportunity to watch it again and then just think about what happens in that video and how you relate to that particular individual day if you put yourself in that position. Okay, thank you very much, Femi. Over to you.